In this video we're going to take a look at the torso block. I've already downloaded the torso block and I've saved it in a dedicated folder. I'm just going to select the torso block here, right click and open with Adobe Acrobat Reader. Bear in mind that you must open PDF files on a computer. The functions that we need to print and look at this block are not available on phones. So let me just open this. Let's take a close look at my torso block. I designed this block, or sloper as they're known in the US, with the future in mind. We have a look at some of the features. You'll notice that the front block is wider than the back, and this allows for larger cup sizes. So for a normal block with the front and back of the same width, you would generally find that block is suitable for a B cup. This block will allow for a C/D cup size without a full bust adjustment. Also, it allows you to easily adjust for larger cup sizes, and you'll find lots of information on my blog regarding full bust adjustments, small bust adjustments, changing the bust level, so changing the bust level here and changing the bust point or bust dart apex to suit individual figure types. Marked on the block also we have here a guide which shows you where to mark the darts back to for sewing, so the darts will come back to this point for sewing. The outer circumference here is the bust fullness, and that helps you when you're planning corsets, patterns with cups, bustiers, etc. So that indicates the fullness of the bust there. So they're two very useful lines to have marked on your block. Something I always do with a basic block is to create a toile with that block and or a muslin as they're known in the US. And I keep that toile with my pattern sheet, and it's a handy reference for when I start to work and create a pattern from that block, so I know my starting point. Within the population, waist sizes are increasing, so to reflect this I've distributed the darts so there's an additional waist dart that can be ignored, used in part or in whole as required. One handy feature of using Adobe Reader to work on PDFs is the layer system. On the left here you can see all the layers within this file if you have the digital version of the block. Let me just switch these layers off and we'll just go through. Now generally with my regular blocks you would find that over on the left here you'd have all the individual sizes. However, with this block it would have been too confusing to have extra sizes layered on top as a nest, because there are so many different things going on and so many additional features with this block. So there is only one size per sheet with the torso block. So if we switch on the logos, the extra information, you'll see you have lots of extra information on the block there, or on the sheet. The size chart, so you have a general size chart here and the block measurement size chart, which we'll look at in a moment. We also have rulers and scales, so handy inch to centimetre conversion, and then the scale squares for inches and centimetres. We have our labels layer here, and we have here the regular block outline. So that's the outline for the regular block. We also need to switch on the internal lines there. Now the next layer up is the optional dart that I mentioned for decreasing the size of the waist, so I can switch that on or switch that off. So that's an optional dart there. We also have a dart marked here at the neckline, and that is our neckline dart, and that's used when we create styles with very low necklines to avoid gaping, and that dart can be ignored at all other times. Another feature of this torso block is that I added an armhole dart for sleeveless styles, along with an adapted side seam shaping and raised armhole for sleeveless styles. So if we just switch that on there, so it's this final box here at the top, you can see that I have the shaping here, raised underarm and the armhole dart to be used for sleeveless styles. If we just switch off the regular block outline, and you can see there the shaping with the block already adapted for sleeveless styles, and of course you don't need the sleeve for those styles. I've already mentioned that I designed this block with the future in mind, and my first concept was to say that I didn't actually want to allocate a specific size to this block. There are several reasons behind this in terms of size charts are changing. Also, I find that my customers and the companies that I produce patterns for, their size charts differ widely between one size, the same size, and the next. So for example, a size 12 UK, 8 USA with one company may be 5 or 6 centimeters different on bust, waist and hips for the same size allocation for a different company. So it can become very confusing, and there is a blog post on my site which explains vanity sizing if you're interested in that. So what I did here was I produced 9 different torso blocks, and this is the first one in the range, and they become larger as the numbers progress. I've given you a general measurement chart, and I realised it would be slightly confusing if I didn't give some kind of comparison. So the size 1, the first torso block in the range, can be used as a size 6 or for a size 6 UK or 2 USA semi-fitted block, or for a size 8 person in the UK or a size 4 USA as a fitted block. Let's just zoom in slightly here. Just take a closer look at the size chart. So you have a general size chart there, and that'll allow you to take a look at my sizing. Yours may very well be different. And here at the bottom we have the measurements of the block. So this is size 1, and you can see that the block body bust is 84 centimeters. The block body bust in inches, I've given you that's 33 and 1/16. And then the block waist in centimeters with all darts used is 62 centimeters, or that would be 24 and 7/16 of an inch. And then the block waist centimeters with the main dart used would be 69. So and then the inch conversions, and then the hips, etc. And there are notes to guide you through here using the block. And I very much wanted you to look at the measurement of the block rather than the size label it's given, and hopefully that will make sense. This block is available as a ready printed sheet, which I'll print and send to you. It's also available as an A0 copy shop version that you can print at a copy shop, or you can print the A0 versions at home using poster mode as well, and I have a video to show you how to do that. It's also available as an A4 US letter compatible file that you can print at home and compile the pieces, piece them together, stick them together and use the block that way. So there are a range of options available. You can also purchase some of my blocks as Adobe Illustrator compatible or CAD pattern cutting software compatible blocks that you can open in CAD software and use. So hopefully you'll find all the information you need on my blog, and if you have any questions at all, please ask. This is a fairly complex block and mostly suitable for pattern cutters who are familiar with all the elements that I've included in this block. So hopefully you'll find it useful. If you'd like to join me for a course where you can learn how to create patterns digitally using Adobe Illustrator, I have a course dedicated to that, and you can find all the information on my blog. Or if you'd like to learn pattern cutting, manual pattern cutting, both as a beginner and more advanced pattern cutting from a professional pattern cutter, and learn in a professional way, then I also have courses for manual pattern cutting, and you can also find the information for that on my blog. So I hope to see you there.